Welcome to the most favorite video I do every week called What in the Hell Really Happened Last Week. And where am I right now? Oh yeah, I'm cramped up in a small hotel room in Paris, France, waiting to cover May Day and the French elections. Anyway, in this video, we are going to tell you all the important news that happened this week that you should know about, but of course, the mainstream media sucks major donkey balls, but of course, these facts are denied to you by the status quo establishment, so we're putting them together for you in this video. And today, April 30th, 2017, we are going to be talking about North Korea, Israel supporting ISIS, NAFTA, the white supremacist sign, more whistleblowers going to jail, that really bad US Constitution Bill of Rights, and Zucked-Obama. Now, when I first got into Paris, these were the first two street signs that I saw when I entered the city center. So our coverage here is definitely going to be interesting, and if you want to support our coverage, don't forget to contribute on patreon.com/WeAreChange, since we're a news organization that is solely beholden on you and your donations. Now, continuing on with the news from this week, we start off with Israel, and as we have been reporting to you for years now, they have openly admitted with their former Mossad chief that they have been openly backing Al-Qaeda inside of Syria. Now, we knew this for a number of years now, especially with the foreign policy objectives of Israel when it came to the continued push and ouster of President Bashar al-Assad inside of Syria in order to make it a balkanized state and to also capture the Golan Heights region while driving a deeper divide between the Sunni and Shiite Muslims. You know, important news that you should know about, especially with the West facing the global threat of global jihadism and extremism with terrorist attacks that have been happening almost regularly now. Yeah. And to make the situation worse this week, Donald Trump also gave Turkey intelligence in order to airstrike and kill Kurdish rebel groups, which of course is making the situation in Syria a total cluster block and continuing the endless proxy war between world nations in that country. Meanwhile, the Kurds were supposed to be aligned with the United States as US soldiers are fighting alongside of the Kurds, but now Donald Trump threw them underneath the bus, again highlighting and pushing the objective of not wanting to defeat radical Islamic terrorists inside of Syria, but also help propagate Turkey now, whose main objective in the region is to also land grab Syria, get rid of the Kurds, and create more of a mess of the situation, which is now continuing. Also this week, we traveled all the way to Berkeley, California to cover what people were expecting to be another ground war between Antifa and pro-Donald Trump supporters, but surprisingly, there was no major conflicts. Antifa did not show up. The event was mainly peaceful. There was actually a lot of civil discourse, and you can see our full coverage from the day on youtube.com/WeAreChange as we did almost a 4-hour live stream of all the events that unfolded there. But even though there was no major conflict in Berkeley, the warfare transferred over to the meme war with 4chan positioned at their battle stations readying to trigger and to bait the US mainstream media, which they did very effectively, as we've seen from the senior fusion reporter Emma Roller, who tweeted that Cassandra Fairbanks and Mike Cernovich, independent journalists who were at the White House press briefing and gave the international hand signal that means okay, and said that they were doing a quote white power hand gesture inside of the White House. The Independent also continued their smear of independent journalists by claiming that the sign is racist and is classified by the Anti-Defamation League as a hate symbol when it is not. Mainly because the ADL's own handbook on this says that you need 2 hands in order to do the supposed white power symbol, and not the okay sign and emoji that everyone knows means okay. This of course triggered a lot of people and overall just wasted everyone's time on just how ridiculous, idiotic, reactionary the mainstream media has become to outsider journalists who are doing their job better than they are. Mainly because they don't focus on stupid freaking hand signals as their quote best investigative journalism. Now, continuing on with more dumbassness, we have Donald Trump, who reached his first 100 days in office as President of the United States. And of course, instead of doing the reasonable thing and giving a fair breakdown of what exactly happened in the 100 days, he just said, screw this, it's all the Constitution's fault, and blamed the constitutional checks and balances in the US government, saying, quote, that it's a very rough system, he said. It's an archaic system. It's a really bad thing for the country. And I guess he forgot the memo that these founding documents that created the United States and our government, because it's supposed to make sure that the government doesn't go out of hand, doesn't get too big, and doesn't become a tyrannical despot like we've seen other countries around the world turn to with cult of personality leaders. Continuing on with more dumbassness and bad moves, Donald Trump also confirmed this week the new Secretary of Labor, and Alexander Acosta, who previously worked out a shameful plea deal and gave a slap on the wrist to billionaire and alleged child predator Jeffrey Epstein when he worked as an attorney based in Miami. More information about this will be in the description below, and it is definitely worth a read. Donald Trump also this week decided to back off NAFTA and break from his major campaign promise of ending that globalist trade deal that hurts the American people, leading many people to the conclusion that yes, the globalists are now in charge of the Trump administration. And Donald Trump, to make the situation worse, even said himself that he is, quote, a nationalist and a globalist, which is mind-boggling because you can't be both at the same time. That's like saying you're a pork-eating devoted Muslim, or a virgin whore, or a chain-smoking health guru, or an honest banker. The two don't go together. And of course, after getting all these mixed signals, many people are saying that he is just a puppet of the deep state, as has been reiterated by the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, this week, who has been affected by Donald Trump's rash foreign policy and major campaign flip-flop when it came to U.S. policy towards Syria. Also this week, former Congressman Ron Paul had WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange on his show. You know, the same man that Donald Trump said he loved the organization behind, but now says he's okay with arresting. And this video is definitely also worth watching, since Julian Assange and Ron Paul talk about just the war on common sense and truth that has been waged on all of you with just the latest craziness happening in American politics. The link to that will be in the description below as well. And another persecuted whistleblower news, we're also finding out that Barrett Brown, a reporter who was arrested by the deep state, was now rearrested and taken back into custody before he was going to do an exclusive interview with PBS where he was going to tell the world what actually happened to him, and he's in jail. And now, more positive and fun news. No, we're going to talk about North Korea, because it needs to be talked about, as North Korea just conducted another missile threat as the world waits for an imminent war between that country and the United States, sparking even Pope Francis to be rational for a second and tell the world that we need to ease the tensions between the United States and North Korea so there is no nuclear war. Well, I hope it works, but people are questioning the capabilities of the North Koreans since they had another failed missile launch. Donald Trump also called in the entire U.S. Senate this week to the White House to be briefed on North Korea, which of course signals more troubled relations with the Chinese, as Donald Trump has been making an effort to appease them. And as Partisan Girl says, kiss their ass to make sure that the Chinese play ball with the United States. Many people are speculating that the Chinese are just playing in the middle ground here, observing the United States and their capabilities to stop North Korean missiles and missile tests with their advanced technology. Now, in other commander-in-chief flip-flopping sellout news, we found out this week that Barack Obama is coming in and receiving the rewards for serving the globalist banksters his last 8 years in office, as he's collecting $400,000 for a speech he's making for a Wall Street company. And of course, why not? He's the one who helped the banker bail out. So the American middle class down the river gave the bankers trillions of dollars, anything they ever wanted, while putting the American people and their future children in perpetual debt. Continuing on with sellout chill news, we have Mark Zuckerberg, who's doing a tour of all 50 states in the United States. And of course, this story is going to be very important in the future, since we're seeing Mark Zuckerberg position himself and align himself with these strategic moves in order to make sure that he will be your next overlord, or aka President of the United States. Make no mistakes, this is going to be a story that's going to be very important in the long run, since Mark Zuckerberg, who's the epitome of corporate whoredom, is now trying to look like the average Joe as he's trying to shift his way into politics. And no freaking thank you, because he will definitely be a formidable threat in the future, and he's already a really bad dude. So yeah, that is the news for this week. If you think I missed a story, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you everyone from the bottom of my heart for supporting us on Patreon. And subscribe, stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more videos coming here your way, all the way from Paris, France, here on youtube.com/WeAreChange.